that members are seeing of different ways to engage, both on their earned but also on their contributed income.
Well, yes, I think everyone is re-looking at budgets, and including PPP and EIDL loans and what the state has to offer. But then as far as the more traditional fund development, there are a lot of questions about how to ask right now for contributions at a time when people may be stretched, but
Right.
whether businesses or donors. So a couple of things about that. One is I think more things are moving to virtual right now, but that does not supplant the need for one-on-one relationships. And in fact, right now, maybe even more so, that need for individual outreach, individual checking in, and that may be over the phone, not screened. It's probably not quite in person yet, but a much more high-touch individual approach. People are flooded with digital information and they're fatigued with that, and so anything we can do around being more personal about that is important. And I would say there are opportunities to do things differently. I look at Montana Nonprofit Association. We do a conference once a year that usually draws 400, 450 people. You guys are usually there. And, we're doing that virtually. Well, on the one hand, that's, a real change and disappointing. But on the other hand, it opens a conference up, that kind of has world-class talent and business representation to a much larger group of Montanans.
Right.
And so that's a positive thing.
Yeah, and I really see from what we've seen with other organizations, as they learn those new platforms, not that everything will end up digital because it's not a panacea, but you end up with new skills and then potentially a hybrid. You've just got new channels to engage more people in different ways in different times. And that rich content can be reused when it's captured digitally. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Yeah, it's a learning curve, but as organizations get through it, I think they'll end up with really both approaches being stronger in the future. Cherie, on the talking about donations and working with your donors, any tips or recipe or just more echoing of what Liz said?
So one thing that we do in our organization, which we were able to not capitalize on, but actually work with during all of this, is our development and communications teams. We have assigned prospect managers that work with our different corporations and our foundations. And so we did this years ago. And so then when coronavirus came, because we were routinely checking in already, and these people already assigned, one person assigned to this corporation, another one assigned, then they were able to just check in and say, how are you doing? And not make it be about an ask or how much more they can do. And organically through that process of them checking in, we have been having some small successes even during this time, because some of the ones that were able respected the fact that we still cared about them. It really isn't about the money. It's been about the relationship all along anyway, about their relationship to the national forests and our relationship with them. Right. And so we were able to just continue to check in, and we've been able to have some successes because of that with the people that are capable. I mean, them bringing it up, them offering. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. So does that help some?
Yeah, and we, just to share from the private side of things, we've been approached by some of the organizations that we support, and same type of thing. It has been conversational, to check in, but at the end of the day, if your mission resonates with us and we're already involved and we're already passionate about what you do, we want to support. And so, even if it's just the question of, are you going to be able to support in the same way that you were? That's a conversation that, we can have. And yes, we can express the uncertainty, and yes, we can express the unknown, but we can also express where we're at, dollars and cents, and again, where our feelings are at, in terms of a specific organization. And there is a lot of organizations on the private side of things, that are performing, well financially. Banks, credit unions, those types of things are doing well. The uh, uh, what I call the freedom business, people that are selling motorcycles and campers and those types of things are also doing, very well right now. So there are some blue spots or blue sky spots in the economy. And I'd really encourage nonprofits, to stay in touch with, just as you said, Cherie, the people that across different industry spectrums, because you'll get facts, on what's happening within the ground that will help you plan based off of how that industry has supported you in the past. Don't do guesswork. Don't just go off of what you read in the news. Talk to people that are in the seats that you already know, you're already involved, and that will help you get rid of some of the clouds, that are existing there.
I think, Connor, the other thing is the opportunity for nonprofits to really become very clear on why they exist. And I think, Cherie, like in the time of COVID, yes, there is that crystallizes the value of our forests and the being able to get outdoors. I've seen that with other conservation groups. It's like a lot you can't do, but you can still go outdoors. And arts organizations are saying, no, we're not. I mean, they're not saying, but in conversation, they're saying, we're not the food bank. We're not the one taking care of domestic violence, but we are the one bringing this sense of humanity and community and creativity and optimism. And that's our niche. And so I think for all of us it's just a chance to really step back and say, are we essential? What is our space in civil society? And grab a hold of that. And that donors know when you've done that.
Right.
And so it's kind of, you can call it focusing in, but it requires the internal organization to be really clear. We are value. We are relevant. There's a lot we're not, but this is what we do that nobody else is doing. And I think to the extent that we can do that, we have a saleable, if you will, mission that donors will respond to.